Aha, ich bin gemutet gewesen. Schön, schön, okay, schön, super.
Either you take a walk.
Oh no, no, not tutorial, no!
Captain. Heard the gang's got a hideout in the mines. Could be a nice workout if you're feeling rusty.
Got the motion blur. Der Blur ist einfach so fuck, Mann. Wer hat das gemacht? 17. Februar, ja, ja, wieso nicht? Was ist mit dem? Das muss ich auch adden, oder nur... Aha, nein, 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 nein. Oh, das ist echt noch... Ah. Eins, zwei, drei. Ah, ah, ah.
Heard the gang's got a hideout in the mines. Could be.
Es ist immer noch blurry. Was ist der andere Fix gewesen? Das ist genau das gleiche. Fuck off, whatever. Rich Tutorial. Ja, und jetzt?
Ah, secret door cracked. Not too rusty. All right, mines. Here I come.
Oh, oh.
I thought there was something. What's this now? What was that?
Piss off.
Must have been nothing.
Da ist voll. Aha. Rip Negro. Ooh.
Nothing there. This one. Don't hurt me. Please.
Quarz. Ich brauche Quarz. Ich glaube, er braucht Quarz. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Look. Oh. FOV vielleicht. Kamera. FOV Scale, ja. Carpets. Aha. Speichern kann ich.
What's this now? Was that?
Uh-oh.
Whoops. Whoop de fucking do.
That's mine now.
Damn intruder!
What the f- bolts. Amber Flask. Ja, braucht man auch nicht. Ich will aber die Flasche dort. Ja, ich weiß nicht, Grafik sieht einfach shit aus irgendwie. Nope.
I know you're
Whoops.
there. Who's here? A goblin. Nothing there?
Nope.
What was it? Goblin, get it!
Can't save during an alert. Oh, okay. Jetzt vielleicht? Huh. Fucking fuck.
The cook stuffed their pies with goblin meat again. Fucking hate that. I could tell just by the smell.
I don't know. At this point, I'm so hungry, it just smells fucking delicious.
I thought there was something.
No, no, it's not true. You're imagining things.
Seeing things.
Yep.
Great. Seeing things.
Lockpick. Hmm. The dwarf captain's bedroom. Dat is sicher der da.
What?
Nope.
Maybe I'm just seeing things. Oi, where's the dwarf at? Asshole owes me a pint.
Hungover in his room. Or maybe he's...
What's that?
Either way, his door's locked.
Like that ever stops you. Come on. I know you got a key on you somewhere. Yeah, it was nothing. Won't be the only.
Lovely.
A little help? No? No dwarf in here.
No sign of the captain here.
Whoops.
Here's the dwarf captain I'm looking for.
Ich will den Lockpick eigentlich behalten. Shit. Maybe not. Ah.
What? I'm paid up till tomorrow. Fuck off.
Oh, no, you don't.
Stop it. What the? Is that thing a goblin?
That thing is here for your Zeppelin, so sober up and do it quick if you ever want to see it again.
What's in it for you?
A ride out of here, non-negotiable.
Sounds fair. My ship's parked in the docks, which seems simple enough, right? Bribe a couple of guards, get in, get out. Except those fanatics from the Inquisition are keeping a close eye on her for some reason. I barely escaped with my life. If you think you're up for it, get my ship out of there and steer her to the nearest air station. I'll take you wherever you want to go. Don't forget my Zeppelin. Hate to be woken up for nothing.
Ich bin einfach hure rot, habe ich das Gefühl. What the fuck ist das wieder, Mann? Ja, ich weiß doch auch nicht, Mann. Whatever. Don't know. Also, where to go? Unlock Balloon Station. Ah, da kotzt er aufs Feuer, um das Feuer ausmachen. Hey, nein, das geht nicht. Ich sehe nichts. Also. Fuck. Fuck. shit. Aha.
Wild night up on the tavern roof, huh? Guess my invite got lost.
What? Starwrath. Closed Beta Test. Jetzt? Alter, das wäre der Shit. Wow. Bitte jetzt. Ich will jetzt Starwrath gamen. Please. The closed forum is accessible after you activate the key in the Gajin. Blah 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 blah. Instructions. Your access key. Activate. Eigen account. Give me a sec. Hygiene. Activation code. Starwrath. Starwrath closed beta. Okay, und jetzt? You have activated a code. Aha. Und jetzt? Immediate access to your digital content and therefore waived your 14-day cancel. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Cool. Und jetzt? How to play game? Starwrath Steam. Starwrath. What? How to play game? Close beta. Access, download. Yes. Starwrath launcher. Pull it out. Kann ich jetzt mit dem Bullshit noch irgendwie ändern? Vielleicht. Gibt's noch einen kleinen Trailer? Zuerst downloaden. Er downloadet schon. Sehr gut. Official Trailer. 8 days ago. Starwrath. Ich will nur eins sagen. Fuck Star Citizen, okay? Aha. Where is Thing? Es ist sicher auf dem C jetzt, aber scheißegal. Zockt so schnell jemand. Live. It's a me! Oh, motherfuck, man. Shitty Pot Town. Aha. Ja, aber... Ups. Alter, wie rot ich bin. Holy shit, you cam. Please. Ich weiß doch auch nicht, Mann. Hör einfach auf mich rot machen oder so. Sure, mate. Mal von neu. Hallo. 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 Wow, okay. Please. Okay. Oops. Ja, aber du, das geht ja, fuck. Ah, ich bin ein Retard, das ist sicher da. Come on. Come on, bitch! Test. Shredder. Okay. Okay, schau. Was wir jetzt suchen ist Test. Another player ship, another player ship. Okay, schon mal geil. What do? Beep! Hashtag not sorry. Oh, mit Alt kann man umeinander. Okay, I like. Und jetzt, what do? Ach, bring einfach einen um. Der da. Weißt du, wie es ist in Star Citizen? Genau so. Okay, das bringt ja mal fuck all gar nichts, hä? Battle Moon. Battle. Tutorial. You're heading in open space. That's right. Fragments and other items. Get that throughout this. Players, blah 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 blah. Okay. Aha. Ich habe eh nichts. Was ist das? Firefly. Deployable, consumable. Das ist nicht schlecht. Was ist das? Das ist Heat Traps. Okay, wir machen lieber das aufs Eis. Das aufs 2. So. Battle. Battle. Battle Moon. Fly to the gate near the automated station. Yeah, I'm very good. Ja. What du? Ich check's überhaupt kein bisschen. Und meine Sense ist off the charts. Pss, pss, pss. Motherfuckers. Goodbye. Da heißt jetzt Punisher, unglaublich. RIP. Was muss ich machen mit dem Teil? Soll ich durchs Gate fliegen? Successfully evacuate from the battle. Fly to the gate near the automated fire gate asteroid cluster. Okay. Hello. Does this do anything? No. Pick up, scan, cargo hold. Checks. Okay, ich habe eine Idee. Landing. Aber vielleicht hätte ich... Ich hätte noch Heal gehabt. Fuck. 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 Fly into the sector by pressing fly to the gate near the automated station. Fly to the gate. Ich check's nicht. Xargon. Fucking schieß doch mal! Reload got so long. No. Yeah. Too late. Fly to the gate near the automated station. Oh, geen plan wat ik mag zeggen. Nope. Scope. Oh, wow. Ich weiß nicht, was ich machen soll. Oh, das geht wie das Gate aus, okay. Gate? Ah, das ist Evacuate gewesen. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, maybe not Russia. Demo station, why not? We get another shift. So, jetzt. Fly to the gate near the automated station. Again. Bing bing. What's this? Okay. Turret gone. Ow. Heal maybe? Ik heb ze niet gebracht. Loot. Okay, ich verpiss mich, glaub's. Wo ist das Gay gewesen? Da. Oder auch nicht. Gate? Terminal? X? Aha, okay. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Was ist das? Shield. Ouch. Well done, bot. Ouch. check nicht, was ich machen soll. Ich check's wirklich nicht. Looting, I guess, bro. City. What up, city? Oops, wrong button. RIP. RIP rocket. Ich check's nicht. Aha. Ah, holy shit, man. 5 iron to open the gate. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Ouch. No? Gut. Oh, whoa. Fuck's geht, ich fordere gerade auf. Gorowitz. Black Hat. Ich weiß nicht. Shredderer. Shop? Aha, browser. Nee. To the gate near the automated station. What? I done the thing, wow. Jetzt leave. Five iron. According to the schedule. En dan gaan we toch zu dem gate. Dat is auch. There you go. Fuck your Corvette. Oh shit, the amount of loot. Rip me. Fuck. Loot ga ich mehr sammeln wahrscheinlich. Nope. Ah, da oben ist Gate. Gate! Missions, recon, hull inspection, bunker curator. The sector is in order. Upgrade one cabin to level 2 or higher. Use the remaster repair kit, consume battle one time. Okay, no problem. Extract one piece of any item. Capacitor. Cabin. What do? Huh? Light cabin. Upgrade part. Maybe not. Replace. No. Ich check's nicht. Oh shit. Ach, kein Repair-Kit mehr. Ja, RIP. Whoops. Oh, Loot! Professional. Time to leave. Ow! Fuck you! Was für ein Kant! Was für ein Kant, Mann. Ah, ich habe eine Idee. Where are you, cunt master? Ja, das ist nicht die gleiche Lobby wie vorher. Fuck. Das ist er sicher. Nope. 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 bullshit. Genau. Fuck. Up. Ich weiß nicht. Ups. Ups. Es ist einfach. Oh. Oh, fuck it. Star Wrath. Meh. Star meh. Meh.
Ah, come on.
Ja, das sage ich auch immer. Just fast travel. Ist noch geil.
Report.
There was no suspicious activity, Inquisitor. No one approached the quartz lock as you ordered.
It better stay that way. This lock is worth more than your lives.
The chest with the key has been put to safety, as per your instructions. Inquisitor.
Kill anyone who steps on the Zeppelin, or I'll kill you myself.
Fucking Inquisition creeps.
True.
An Inquisition-made quartz lock. Now, that's something you don't see every day. Wouldn't it be a shame if someone were to open it?
Shit! What's this now? An intruder! Goblin!
Mother.
In there?
Your mother.
I'll just take that.
Was ook wat dat. De Chestro. Nope.
I must say, I'm pretty curious to see what could open a quartz lock like that. Or who, I suppose.
You're not the Inquisition.
Not unless they drastically changed their recruitment profiles.
Can you get me out of here?
Whoa! Slow down. I came here to find something that would open a quartz lock.
A quartz lock that's keeping a Zeppelin stuck at the docks, correct?
And how would you know that?
Because people can't seem to keep their mouths shut around here, or suspect the strange chest next to them might be listening in.
And you were inside that chest because?
Because I can open the quartz lock, which is the reason you wanted that chest in the first place. So I'll ask again. If I open it, can you get me out of here? I can't steer a Zeppelin on my own.
I think that could be arranged.
Maybe you could try crafting something.
After. lockpick.
Hey, could you secure the path? I don't like knowing those guards could be in our way.
Yeah, fine.
Are you all right? Whoa, there, shit! Goblin!
The fuck?
One less.
Maybe you could try... Hey, could you secure the path? I don't like knowing those guards could be in our way.
Yeah, fine.
What was...
Uh-oh.
What's this? Here, a goblin! That one dealt with.
Maybe you could do something. Hey, could you secure the path? I don't like knowing those guards could be in our way.
Yeah, fine. For me, you shouldn't have.
Hmm.
Shit! What happened to you? How the fuck did this happen? Come on, where are you? What the? Damn! Goblin, get it!
Motherfuck! What? Game crash. Fuck. $2028. Good. Hmm. Bias. Doesn't you can see. Okay. Dann wird auch sehen.
The site's incredible. You always said this was the kind of thing people waited their whole lives to see.
Of course. A jungle in the middle of nowhere. Another one of Danny's adventures.
Franken 50. Flashing loud lights, loud sounds, sudden visual effects, dark and confused environments, intense and disturbing audio cues, disturbing image. Play as Emily, drawn to a remote Mayan ruin after her brother insists it's safe, amazing, and beautiful. Explore an ancient Mayan site. Ah, fuck. Kabok. BC.
Hey, could you secure the path? I don't
Hey,
like
could
knowing
you
those
shut the
guards could be
fuck
in our
up?
way.
Yeah, fine.
In there? I'm
Nope.
gonna take a look. Maybe I'm seeing things.
It's not true. Lies.
Nope, not here.
Ah. Was ist denn da? Aha.
Place is falling apart piece by piece. Captain, get back to your damn position.
Nope.
I thought there. What the? Here, a goblin. A goblin. Get it.
Fuck up.
The place is cleared. Hurry up.
Yep, coming. Right behind you.
Ah, jetzt gerade der Scheiß plötzlich auf. Okay.
You got it?
Don't.
Sticks, is it?
Who's asking?
It is a difficult question. How do we define ourselves?
Well, a name would be a good start.
We've been called Flux, but it is a meager definition of us. Is Styx all you are?
Well, I mean, you could also add thief extraordinaire, green plague of the continent, all-round pain in the ass. But maybe we save that for the second date, huh?
What about quartz collector? First, the pieces at Korangar, and now...
Let me guess. I disturbed an ancient power of some sort? Is that what you are?
You have not disturbed a Styx. But it has been a long time. Yes, a very long time.
What did you do?
Got myself a little power up. You took your damn time, Jarek.
Had some plans of my own. Who's your friend?
My name is Jasper, and I hope one of you knows how to pilot a ship.
Running away?
Just need to make a stop. Got some cargo to get back.
I'm sure she'll appreciate the sentiment.
To steal his ship. I'll give him that. Yeah, that'll have to do. Make sure we're moored correctly. I'll take care of the rest.
What?
What? Quartz gives experience. Yes, it is the truth. Quartz gives experience. Invisibility. Don't throw. Clone throw, last Yeah. That it? That's it.
What's this now? Was that an intruder? Someone.
Shit. That's one big mountain of muscle.
Yeah, don't come back.
Towerborne. What? What? Okay. Okay. Ninsakiga. Oh no. Humanity. Eh. Ja, gib mir noch die Carbs. Wait, what? Whoops. Whoops. Das ist immer noch Shit. Das nicht mehr Shit sein. Ah. Es ist wieder gut. I believe. Okay. Okay. Das nicht mehr Shit sein. Okay.
I had an experience where I left my body, found myself in the presence of this all engulfing bright light. I just said mother because I knew it was the mother. I knew it.
1 sec. Sagen wir mal.
was the lady. She was always protecting my family for generations. And she said, okay, it's time to go now. I did have that experience with the lady. And as soon as I left, I was walking around the Monroe Institute out of body. And I saw Dad and he saw me. And we just smiled and joined hands. And we just started flying in the stars and we're just having fun. And as soon as we come out of the meditation in the 3D, he said, we were just holding hands and flying. And I said, I know, we were.
Holy mackerel, that can't be aircraft. There actually is a large unidentified object circling the Earth at incredible speed.
Actually, we are very curious to know where it is you come from. I wake up Easter morning, your dad had texted me a video of this clear orb floating over the property. And he says, my family's here. And then I hear your voice yell out. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, he's got other kids.
My children are here, all of them, and they're seeing it. These are angels, celestial beings, watching, listen. Y'all see it still, right?
How does a 10-year-old, Emily, hear about, because it would have been easier for your dad to come home and say, hey, we got chased by a bear on the fishing trip. But how do you articulate that to the family? Because I don't believe you, your mom, or your other brother were there that night at home. So how did the genesis of you finding out that this dramatic thing happened to my dad and brother? And how did you, like, through your 10-year-old eyes, process that?
Yeah, thank you for asking, James. I'll say that I was fortunate to be shielded a little bit initially from this because I wasn't in the documentary, even though it did greatly impact me. But that was a year after. So to answer your question, I didn't hear about it from my dad personally the first time. I have two other brothers that weren't at the river, and you know, myself, my two other brothers, and my mom were with my grandma that night. She's a widow and she doesn't like being alone at night, and she was alone that evening. So we were with her. And when we came back, my dad told his dad, who told my brother, because he didn't believe
Whoops.
it. You know, we're, you know, salt of the
Obviously.
earth, country
Whoops.
people living out in the
Scenwachsel
in the
shit.
country, and there's cornfields everywhere, and you know, we have chickens. You know, it's like that's the kind of life we were living, and going to church really, really, you know, studiously every week. And my grandpa didn't understand. He didn't understand. My mom didn't understand, and so my grandfather told my brother. We kind of joke about it now. Ryan was 13 when Papa Ted said the next day, he got off the school bus, went to my grandpa's house and said, your dad's been in the woods and saw 3 little booger men and, you know, was probably smoking some dope. That's kind of what my brother heard the first time. And then he went to Dad and asked him. Ryan's very, you know, he's the one with the podcast, if anyone's familiar with Bledsoe Said So. He's always been very hungry for information. So he went and asked Dad directly. And then Ryan told me. My first impression of it was, I believe him. You know, I believe my dad. I'm a daddy's girl. I'm the only girl. I have always looked up to him as someone who's very capable of caring for our family, who cares very deeply, who always had our back. So my first reaction was absolutely, I believe him, but it was very confusing and scary at first because the family didn't understand, and my brother Chris Jr., who was at the river, was very traumatized. Yeah. So I would go to talk to my dad about it, but my mom didn't want us talking about it because she didn't understand at first either. She thought something bad had happened, or, you know, we shouldn't talk about it. It's freaking Chris Jr. out. I don't want my other kids to hear about this. So we weren't supposed to talk about it for a while. It was a very hush-hush thing, even inside the home. And it wasn't long after the incident and we found out that I started having experiences, that our whole family started having experiences. I think it was within a month, maybe within a month, that my same two brothers that were at my grandma's and my mom and I went to church one evening. And when we left the church, there was something following our car. And we were all screaming. You can imagine us not scared, but just like, whoa, look, look, look. And we're crawling over each other, unbuckling seatbelts to look out the window. There were 4 orbs flying in unison. In Dad's book, he calls it the ice cream, but that's because my 10-year-old mind said the formation was shaped like an ice cream cone. But they were 4 separated orbs that were like in a cross. So the one at top, the 2 on the sides, and 1 farther at the bottom. So like if you were to see a cross, but it was just the points. But to me, it was an ice cream cone. So I was just in this constant, expanded, childlike state of curiosity and wonder and, questioning, but also a little scared because what is this? My mom and my family and the community is saying it's bad, and my brother is really scared, but my dad is, saying something else, and I'm seeing something that made me feel excited. It was a very confusing time. And when the documentary came out, it became very public, whereas before that, inner circles knew, and there were some kids at school that knew because there were 3 other men at the river with my dad, and they had kids that went to school with my brothers. So there was, a circulation of information before the documentary came out in 2008. But when it did come out, we were blasted. And I had to face that at school. I was in theater and choir, and like my mom said, don't talk about it. We didn't, except in very private. And to the extent that Dad would wake us up
Muss etwas sagen, bevor YouTube mich bannt.
on a school night and
Ich banne es mir wieder für Copyright Infringement. Schon wieder.
In the yard, we would go outside and just see them in the trees around us.
For no fucking reason. Das machen es richtig gern, you motherfuckers.
All peeking through the blinds on the couch. My dad and my 2 brothers and I, not Chris Jr., because he didn't like it. He didn't want to hear about it. But the other 2 and I, we're the youngest 3. I'm the youngest of all. But yeah, she was a little freaked out to see us all like peeking through the blinds and looking out the window because she didn't think we were talking about it. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. It's a lot. And, your dad's, from when I started communicating with him to now, clearly in the book and the attention that he's garnering and in demand for with conferences, conventions, and everything in between, it doesn't get lost on me. It's fascinating to me that there's a whole family dynamic that has been going on since 2007. And I think, man, I wonder what their Thanksgiving dinners are like when they all get together, right? It's like putting myself in your shoes, I guess is what I'm saying, because I have a family that same size, right? Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about having other experiences, were they all just the orbs appearing, or was there any other types of experiences you had?
Yeah, absolutely. There were all kinds of experiences, all kinds of, we just call strangeness. And that's why we say the phenomenon.
Right.
Because it could be anything. It could be orbs that are in the sky. It could be orbs in your house. It could be an animal doing something, very synchronistically. It could be, I've seen things move on their own. Of course, things like doors shutting, that you would think is ghost-like. Yeah. That's why we always kind of say it was like a haunted house growing up, but we know it was more than that. It wasn't like, just because a door shut on its own doesn't mean there's an evil demon or a ghost in your house. It's just another force trying to get your attention, right? So things like that, things moving, I've seen them, float off the table. I've seen doors shut. I've seen shadow beings. I've seen appliances die over and over and over. You've never seen a family have to replace their appliances as many times as us. And then like the tree bursting on fire, you know, just all kinds of things. Actually seeing the light beings themselves. So there's a lot. Light bulbs exploding. It could be anything. There's one story in the book that I didn't see this, but this is just like an interesting example of the strangeness. Is that mom was sitting on the front porch when a truck drove in the driveway and went into the backyard. Dad's in the backyard and no truck entered the backyard, and then the truck never left. So it's like just a phantom truck drove into our yard, and mom's like, hey, who drove in the yard? I never saw them leave. And dad's like, there was no one there. So just weird things happening that it's too much to explain.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And man,
What
to
do?
cover, but, I'll start from something you said, and I remember your dad shared with me. It was almost like a cell phone video, and it was of that period, and it was a video of the burning tree. The tree in the other property, the first property, and it was smoldering, and people were freaking out, not knowing why the tree was like burning from the inside out. And it was the actual cell phone footage of somebody filming that. That tree, as your dad described, people would come and bring items, and it became kind of a center of healing for a lot of people, if I'm getting that correct. And he told me about a lady that was going to, I think, Raleigh-Durham, and had like 8 tumors in her esophagus. And he sent me a video of, again, people standing around the tree, and basically they're trying to, it's kind of a healing, that's what they're there for, I guess. And then you see this weird flash of light.
What?
And I don't think they even caught it that were there. And then when she went to get her throat examined, which I think was like the next day or day after, they were all gone. All the tumors are gone except a very small one was left there. And he did share with me some other stories that I won't mention by name, because I don't think he wants me to, of some people that
New Yorker Recht.
by title and what they did.
Wer könnte das echt sein?
One of their children got basically saved by that, which is amazing. So the burning tree, we can talk about that a little bit, because you've got this phenomena going on, but this tree and people coming to the tree. As a kid, did you guys see this tree just like burst into flames?
So you can hear in the video, my brother Ryan, the one with the podcast, he filmed that on his iPad.
Oh, okay.
And this was the year that Dad saw the lady for the first time. And I was at marching band. And my friend was driving me home from school. And of course, I never wanted this stuff to come up. You know, I never wanted it to be a topic in front of my friends. And I said, you know, drive a little further, because our driveway went all the way into the backyard. I said, I see everyone in the backyard and there's like a light, or maybe they're doing a bonfire. Let's just drive back there and see what's up. Roll down the window, and they're like, Emily, the tree spontaneously combusted on fire. And I'm like, all right, bye. And I like tell him to leave, like, get out of here. Strange things are happening. I didn't see it burst into flames, but I think they saw it not erupt, but they saw it when it was on fire, and it was very alarming, my mom and dad, because they're very attentive to our yard. They love gardening and being in the yard, and it had been raining for days. It wasn't raining and lightning struck. They actually had people come in and professionally analyze it, and they ruled out that any chemical accelerants or anything like that was there, and that lightning did not strike it. They ruled it out as a combustion. Or they ruled it as a combustion. And anyway, they saw it on fire, and they drug the water hose out there pretty far into the backyard, and they hosed it down. It kept coming back. The fire just kept coming back. It came back 3 times that night until like 3 a.m. My mom kept going out there in the middle of the night. It would just catch on fire over and over. And it's important to know that the tree was dead. And after this happened, it came back to life, and it was flourishing. This was a catawba tree. And they had even thought about, you know, cutting it down because it was dead and it was just in the middle of the backyard. And it's an interesting tree too because it has this big carved out hollow center. That's where the fire was contained. It didn't erupt on the whole tree. It was just in that contained hollow center, which is very strange. So we're all back there just looking at it and just in
It's
awe
like
of this
4K.
tree. And we all just kind of said, all right,
Ugh.
let's go inside, go to bed, another weird thing, whatever. And it just kept coming back. So anyway, after that, the tree comes back to life. People are hearing about this and people start coming to our house. We've got people showing up at our house. They've been doing it for years at this point. Just showing up in our yard. It's like a Tuesday night and I have homework and there's strangers in my house eating dinner with us, and it's just a weird life, right? Anyway, more people are coming and all of these healings. His dad was healed the first time, but there had been another couple of healings that had happened. But when the tree became part of our story, people really started sending us stuff that they wanted us to pray over, putting it in the tree and like coming to pray at the tree and be there. And you're right, the lady, there is a film that this woman took, a friend of ours, who she did have a diagnosis. And after she was filming, and you can hear some Native American chanting in the background, there was a group of Native American friends of ours that were there. They were singing and chanting.
Okay.
So you can hear that in the video. But anyway, she said, wow, I got one. She saw an orb flash. When they analyzed it later, you can see this orb, and then when it flashes, there's a being, and you can see the orb inside of this being. And we've seen this with our own eyes, where there's an orb, and then it will flash, and there's a being. So, yeah, it's amazing. But there have been numerous healings that have occurred over the years, and unfortunately, for anyone wondering,
oh fuck,
the tree was cut down.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Yeah.
It's really sad. We had to move, unfortunately, and the people that moved in did cut the tree down, and I cried. We were all very upset.
Yeah, because I was wondering what that property. I was always wondering about the tree. Now I know it's gone. What about the people that moved in after the fact? Any communication with them or any at all?
I don't know. We don't know them personally. But I do feel like I remember hearing someone
Oh,
say
come on, dude.
a little bit about our story, and they were a little bit like, about it. I don't know if that remained, but I think they're still living there, so I have no idea.
And you mentioned
This is
something
Shrek order.
Was telling me about. Like I interviewed your dad when I was just trying to do like a little channel or something, and I was at home, and this is like 6 years ago, and he had like the worst setup ever for video, so the quality was. I put it out on this channel at some a while back, but he was telling me when some nefarious people started to enter the picture in your family's life, that the behavior, almost some of the things that happened inside the house also seemed a little dark. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, I do. There were some instances that, and it's not necessarily that the experiences themselves were different on a technical level, like a door shutting or something like that, seeing a shadow being, but I think you
Mustachio.
and know when the energy is different. And there were times that it did feel kind of scary, but then there were times that it didn't at all. I do remember there being a lot of fear in the home at certain points. I mean, we literally had people in these 3-letter agencies coming to our home and telling us that there were people watching us, there were bugs in our house, there were, all kinds of things that were out of our control. And that was scary. So we would have to like pantomime discussions and talk very quietly in fear that we were being listened to. And I'm 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, little girl, afraid that grown men are spying on me in my bedroom and that I can't say things. It was just it was fearful. it was fearful. And there were experiences that that I think were a little troubling, but I don't think that that's the phenomenon that we talk about being angelic. I think that might just be, you know, another energetic force coming through. Or maybe we don't know for sure. Or it could be just the phenomenon that we like to talk about, being angelic and of the lady. Maybe them, you know, giving us warnings or signals that made us feel like something's off. We need to dissociate from people or something. I'm not sure. And it was challenging because, you know, people would come to our house and flash badges, and, you know, you let them in and you talk to them, and we're just normal people. Like you said, my dad's setup was terrible. He's just a normal older guy. Like there's no rule book on how to manage this. So I think ultimately the phenomenon works for God. You know, when we talk about the phenomenon, we're talking about the core of our experiences and these beings that have given us lovely messages that work for the lady and have healed my dad and have been there through all of this. I think ultimately they've had our backs through every step, and I don't think we've ever been in real danger. Because I'll give you, I'm sure this has been said online, but there was a man, this was not during that time period, this was actually at this property. There was a man that came to our home working for an agency.
After centuries of darkness
who threatened
and
my mom,
fighting for survival,
threatened my brother, threatened our
humanity
family,
longed for a
and
place of learning.
Literally, an orb appeared in daylight in front of him.
A place of prosperity.
So bad that he got
a place
out and
protected from the monsters that roam.
Wie lange ich heben muss zum Skippen? Holy shit!
We called it the city.
Yeah. It's you can't.
Ow. Oh. What?
Can't make it up. It just.
No.
We've always innately felt that there's this loving guidance and presence that's always around. And whether or not it was something negative coming in and, you know, showing itself, I can't say for sure, but I do think that we've had some
Dodge
level of
roll.
protection, just because of the message that we're responsible for sharing, you know?
It's an interesting way to put it, is like responsible, like a responsibility. Do you pick that up, that you, your dad, or however each individual in your family handles it, do you feel a responsibility to share something to the world that's been shared with you?
Absolutely. I don't know if you've seen my TikToks, but I have a TikTok channel where I just talk about this stuff. I feel like our story is not just my dad's story, because it's all our stories, and we all have an intricate role in the entire perspective of the story, whether or not one thing happened to Dad, or one thing happened to Ryan, or one thing happened to Chris Jr., because we've all had our own unique experiences. I was just in St. Lucia a week ago and had my own unique experiences that they didn't have. So it's a family ordeal. For example, Dad always says, you know, the night that he went out and said to the heavens, "I'm done," and then the lady appeared that night, he went and did that because I came home crying from school because I was getting picked on. So it's all encompassing. And I do feel like it's my responsibility. I feel like I had a choice to choose it or not, and for me, making the choice was the only option, because it felt like suppressing myself if I wasn't choosing to be in line with my truth and my experiences, which is why, you know, my entire thing on social media presence is all about finding your truth and stepping into who you are, because ultimately that is the only way to heal the world, is through all of us connecting with that divine source within ourselves and honoring and owning our own stories and just being honest. And I do feel like being the only girl in the family and being someone who has a lot of, you know, I would say humbly, perspective and wisdom on what we've been through. And I'm also a teacher, and I have experience with different things like nervous system healing and the voice, and I'm a singing voice specialist. Like, I have a lot of skills and a lot of experience that I can offer. So I do feel like there's a responsibility, and ultimately the message from the phenomenon itself is the most important message. And I'm not the only one of the children that feels this way. We all do to an extent. If that answers it.
Yeah, no, that was beautifully answered. And so at what point when did you guys move from the original property to where you are now?
2016.
So you had 8 years of basically what you had described. You're 18 years old at this time. When you got to the new property, did things take a while to pick up, or are they different, or had they been different, or was it the same type of interaction with the phenomena at the new property?
I would say the phenomenon over the last however many years has really picked up. It's different. I think what's different is our understanding. What's different is our perspective and our sense of safety and, you know, the greater perspective here. You know, understanding it and integrating it in a way that feels good and feels healthy versus confused, at odds with other people, and kind of isolated. I think that alone, the social aspect of it, was what was very damaging. So throw in there lots of really strange experiences happening. It was isolating and confusing. But I would say the quantity has actually been more since the last few years. And I think that parallels the experiences in the world that are happening. More and more people are seeing, more and more people are awakening and understanding. And we've proven in front of crowds that, you know, where your consciousness is and what you're focusing on, what you're expecting is what you're going to see. The way you can perceive the phenomenon is the way you're going to see it. They're not picky about, you know, what they need to show up as for you to understand it. They're going to do what they need to for you to understand it. I mean, hundreds of years ago, people were seeing flying ships that looked like the Pirates of the Caribbean, or houses floating in the air. And then at a certain point, someone reported something that looked like a flying saucer. People start seeing metal saucers. And then people start seeing like triangles, and then people start seeing whatever. And my dad started talking about these big orbs of light, and now everyone's seeing these orbs of light. I saw an orb, it was maybe a year ago in the house, in my dad's house, that was quite large. And then my mom saw one that exploded. This was an interesting story. So, my mom was sitting and my mom is, you know, she's a funny lady. She didn't always love this, but she's had so many experiences, and she's just kind of like, you know, oh, I saw an orb in the house, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this one was kind of crazy and shocked her a little bit, which is funny because she's seen some wild things. But this green orb just started glowing on top of the couch, like where my dad usually sits, and it was sizzling. She said she could hear it like crackling, like zzz, like electrical humming, and then it exploded, and the room filled with green light. And it was like, wow, that was crazy. And I walk in the door because I'm her neighbor, and she was like, you'll never guess what I just saw. And I open the door and I see 3 glowing entities in the yard, and it was in the same night. And then I look back and they weren't there anymore. And that's just how it works. Like, you're not supposed to see what you think you're supposed to see. It's gonna show up in the way you need it for whatever reason.
Gobo brute.
And then, like I was saying, in crowds of people, we could say, all right, everyone, let's focus our heart on, we want to see something streak. And then a couple minutes later, or maybe seconds later, we see things streaking. All right, let's think about flashes, and then things start flashing. Or very recently, in the last year or so, things with wings.
Really?
More people seeing things with wings. Yeah, glowing.
The fuck is that?
In the sky in front of hundreds of people at a time with wings. Yeah.
You know, have you ever read any of Jacques Vallée's work?
I have not. I mean, I know who he is, obviously, but I have not.
Yeah, he has a book, and he talks about this phenomenon being ages old, and in the ages previously, the way it manifested was exactly what you described, whether it would be your point of reference is fairy, your point of reference is demon, your point of reference is
coffee. Ah. Coffee. Koffefe. Wait, welcher Knopf ist das schon wieder gewesen? Autsch. Wait, irgendein Knopf war blocken gewesen. Kamehameha! Welcher Knopf war blocken gewesen? Alt. Alt. Alt T, Mittelmaus. Q ist auch etwas. Q und Shift. Q macht gar nicht, ja, okay. Try punching me. Ah, es hat doch irgendwie Health abgezogen, aber... Nicely done. Mhm. Gragu Gargar. Gragu Gargar. Gargagur. I have potato blood in my veins. Oh. Hello.
To each time period and each cultural location that had its own cultural points or points of reference, that these things seem to do exactly what you're describing as a phenomena, but the appearance was what was culturally, I guess, in mind at the time. So it's exactly what you described. And I think that's really cool because you basically described his theory, and
yeah,
but you're living it. So
we've seen it proven over and over. I mean, we've seen so many different kinds of things.
Null.
Not a million different entities that are.
Null.
You know, no, it's maybe the same beings doing different things that we can perceive, and I think that they like.
Das schmeckt nach Putzmittel, der Kaffee.
To push that boundary of curiosity. They like to be teetering on the edge of, what was that? Was that a satellite? What was that? Was that something out of the corner of my eye, or was that something? Because they don't want to infringe on your free will. So if they were to appear in front of you and look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that would be completely out of your wheelhouse of understanding. But if you're someone whose radar is hooked on UFOs, you might see something that looks like a UFO in a standard sense. If you're someone who's been hearing about orbs a lot, you might see an orb. If you're someone who's really into, I don't know, animal phenomenon, you might see an animal encounter, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
They don't want to scare us, and they can't. It's against the law for them, I think. You know, God's...
Nimm einen Schluck von dem Kaffee. Nimm einen Schluck von dem Kaffee. Das ist irgendwie bitter. Also ist da Putzmittel drin? Hä? 2 Löffel. Das ist sonst nie so bitter. Ich habe das Gefühl, es liegt an der Tasse. Hä? Kann sagen.
law that we have free will and that that is sacred. And if someone subconsciously in their free will is not willing to see, they're not going to see. So if you're in a crowd and there's someone skeptically minded who their sense of safety inside cannot process and does not want to see something that is scary or that would rack their sense of reality, they're not going to see it. And the crowd's not going to see it. until that person goes inside to go to the bathroom or they look away. We've seen that where someone who's kind of like the mouthpiece of skepticism, you know, not judging them, but that's just the reality. They look away and everyone sees something, whoa, look at that, and they missed it. It's not up to us. Another funny story, not that she's a skeptic by any means, but just in the vein of we're meant to see what we're meant to see, and sometimes it's comical. If you remember hearing about John Alexander and his experience with my dad at the river, I was with them. And so was his wife, who we love. Her name is Victoria. And she was saying the whole time we were touring the river site. We're like going on a tour of where Dad had this happen and where this happened and where this happened in 2007. But I think this was in 2013 or something. And she's saying the whole time, I want to see them. I want them to come up and wave at me. I want to see them, you know, very eager. And John is very serious and very like looking around and just asking the questions. And I'm just hanging out. Dad asked me to come and I didn't know why, and I just came. So it's like me and all these, you know, these three people. And so we go up to the car. It's night at this point. And Victoria's like, well, we didn't see anything. I'm going to get in the car. And so she gets in the car. And I sit in the car next to her in the back seat, but I open my car door and I'm looking at Dad and John and the sky because they're still outside looking up. And of course, comically, not because she wasn't worthy or not because she didn't believe or because she was skeptical, but just because of the circumstances, you know, we saw something that was significant and she was rushing to try and get out of the door and didn't get to see it. So we have countless stories of things like this happening. Ultimately, the phenomenon knows your heart, knows your mind, knows your circumstances intimately. And a lot of people get really wrapped up in this energy of, I want to see, I have to see, I have to see. And don't realize that that puts up energetic layers and barriers around you of effort and of control and of a vibrational frequency that is not really aligned with that release and that joy and that sense of curiosity and desire that's kind of pure and in line with the experiences themselves, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes sense. And we hear a lot about consciousness now being more a driver of communication. We hear a lot about vibration and frequency being a driver to having communication or some kind of impact, interface with the phenomena. Like it's never been more part of the equation than it has been now. And so I've heard a lot about that, and you experience it. It's interesting to hear about it, but it's more interesting to hear about it from somebody that experiences it. And when you're talking about the different kind of ways that they can show themselves in the different forms based off of maybe that person's, you know, point of reference. I remember, I think your dad either sent it to me or pointed me in the right direction where he had these pictures. And these were pictures from the old property. And there's like, that's a being. And that's an orb with, it looks like almost, there's a face inside of it. Like it's pretty clear. And once we edit this, I'll see if I can find them and kind of layer them through so people can see what I'm talking about. But there was also, and I wanted to bring this up, when I was talking to your dad and some other experiencers, I was talking with Kathleen Martin of Betty and Barney Hills, you know, their niece. And we kept talking back and forth, and she pointed me to a person named Pam Nance. And I don't know if you know Pam, but Pam and her research partner went to the old property to investigate. And Pam and her research partner show up, and I guess it starts raining. So your dad and mom have them come inside and eat dinner. And then when they go out and things are cleared, they set up, and as they're looking, she's got this audio recording of saying, "What's that?" "It's by the moon. It's by the moon." And then she's got these other recordings where you can kind of make out it's saying, "We're coming in, abduct," or something like that. But she said 2 hours later or whatever, they kind of come to, and all the camera equipment's laying in the grass, like laying down. And she said, "We would never do that." And they lost a couple hours. So the implication is she got abducted on your dad's property, her and a research partner. And then she was telling me when they left, they were still trying to piece it together, and they drove by like this grocery store, and then they saw like a ball of light just streak across the sky, like, you know, adios or something. But so I got to know Pam for a bit there too, and that was a wild story. But that was at the old property, and I didn't know if you recalled Pam or not.
I do remember that. And it's interesting because a lot of people have had experiences at our house, and then it continued after that. It was like the initiatory experience for them happened around us, and then it continued with them. Some people might think of this as like a hitchhiker thing, but we don't see it that way. It's actually more of like a transference. Maybe if you have a tuning fork that's vibrating and you put it near another tuning fork, they'll both start vibrating. And it's the same concept, right? When you have when you've entered that vibratory space where you're experiencing this kind of phenomenon, you're able to access it more and more. Or at least your body and your consciousness has a reference for it and can see or can experience. Not always, but a lot of the time. So yeah, it's interesting. We hear all the time people say, "Oh, I came to your house and now they just won't stop following me around." But yeah, I don't think it's like a hitchhiker as much as it is a removal of barriers and an ability to access. Because ultimately, the phenomenon has always been here. They're always here. They're always around us. And they are working, you know, through a consciousness lens. And so when your consciousness can understand them and can process them energetically, then you can start interfacing with them. It's not that they came here and they're finally here and wow, now they're here and I see them finally. It's they've already been here and now I can see.
No, that makes more sense than trying to make sense of why do they randomly show up for some people and other people they don't.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. I know producer Ryan here and I would love to get up there at some point. And I've badgered your dad a little bit about like going up there, and I know he's super busy, and there was a few occasions where we thought maybe we'd have something scheduled, but at some point I will get up there, and I'd love to experience that for myself. And so we'll have to make a plan for that at some stage of the game. Or
yeah,
and let me ask you this on the little house there. That's the other thing I was wondering. So the little house is basically a guest house on the property, right?
This tiny home?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we moved out here, the house that my parents moved into was smaller, but I was still in college. I'm the youngest. And there wasn't, you know, I'm kind of hybrid in and out of the house. So they built this to be my home, but also when people come to visit, it is also like a guest home. So yeah, it kind of functions as both, but it's my house. And I ended up moving in it full time during COVID, which was not the desired outcome. I was living in New York, getting my master's in the city, and then COVID, and I suddenly lived in here full time. But it's been a blessing. Yeah.
Nice. So to that, in the tiny house, we'll call it the tiny house, Emily's tiny house. Have you had the same type of phenomena in your tiny house?
Die, bitch!
Yeah, I'll tell you. So the phenomenon appears in different ways, like we've been saying over and over. I've had some I've had lots and lots and lots of experiences outside of this house, right in the yard. We've had them over the house. And I've had strangeness happen in here, but I haven't seen an orb in this tiny home. But I have had some very significant
coffee
dreams.
Oh.
Significant personal experiences in here.
Victory.
Part of the phenomenon. So
Progression.
It gets a little bit into semantics, I guess. But yeah, I think that the phenomenon interacts with us in our sleep a lot. And people don't realize that because it's consciousness, right? And when you're asleep, you're kind of absent of the body and you're in consciousness land. And they're interfacing with us in ways that we don't always recognize. And so I've had dreams where I'm just, taken out of my body and I'm face to face with these beings and they're talking to me and showing me things. And then I wake up out of my sleep hyperventilating and my husband's like, "What's going on?" Like, "Are you okay?" Those kinds of things happen. And I'll tell you, he's been a trooper, like joining this family and having to, integrate into these experiences. He was pretty freaked out the first time he stayed in the tiny home here, because just of everything happening and hearing about it all. But there was one time also that I do weird things in my sleep all the time and it freaks him out. One time I was sitting up on the side of the bed and I just said, "Do you see that?" And I was looking in the corner and he was like, "Go to bed, lay down right now." And I don't even remember. I don't remember it until the end of it when I was like, I was saying and I was coming to when I said, "Do you see that?" And then I realized and I just went to sleep. So high strangeness all around, especially because I kind of famously had things in my room as a kid. So he's like, "Go to sleep."
That I was gonna not to zoom back to that, but I had a family in Florida here that had experiences and had their whole life. Some were like, if I told you them, I couldn't make it up. But I know the daughter, when she was your age and we went to interview the family, she didn't want to talk and she didn't want to appear on camera. But she said she woke up as a child and her whole bedroom was full of moths and butterflies so thick it was like fog, and she had to crawl under the bottom to get out. And other things that, again, just too odd to describe. So when you saw things as a kid in your room, was it all of the above, lights, or was it actually like beings?
Yeah, that's really cool about the butterflies. No, I saw beings. And I saw lights too. And I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot that I think I need a regression. There's a lot that I don't remember. And I think the memory is a little veiled. But I do remember seeing some entities, and there were some that came repetitively, especially through dreams, but I saw them too, and I would just go to sleep, but then they would be in my dream all night, and I would sleep, and they kept coming back and kept coming back. And a lot of times it was just like the feeling of, oh, that full body recognition, there's something in my room right now, and then just forcing yourself to go to sleep. I was, because of our circumstances and the strangeness of our story, and that concept of there's always things watching you, and maybe things that you don't understand, or maybe there's scary things or people watching you. I didn't know. I just always felt like I was being observed. I would literally, this might make me insane. I would literally, as like a young girl, on purpose at night walk in the dark. And when you're a kid, you're like, you got to turn the lights on.
Yeah.
I would on purpose not, to show that I had no fear. I would just walk around at night in the complete darkness, like to go do things, because I was not afraid. Even though maybe I felt afraid sometimes. I, through that, really developed a resistance to that fear mechanism, which I think is a part of what holds people back from seeing the phenomenon anyway. So I think my willingness, using my free will as a kid who's already kids are expanded, to to say, no, I'm not afraid. I'm going to get over this response, and I'm just going to you're almost putting an energetic barrier of protection around yourself when you're like, no, nothing's going to get me. Nothing's going to harm me. I'm not afraid. But Dad likes to say, when you shine a light on cockroaches, they scatter. But they stay by and they're watching. You know what I mean? And so if there were any negative entities, I feel like they would scatter when that intention was there, or when the phenomenon was present, or when you energetically are aligned with that. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I like that, and I was not that kid that would walk around in the dark. I was scared of my own shadow. Who am I kidding? And so I think maybe we made these films and went to like the Conjuring house and stayed for 5 days and these other places, just as I think to get over a lot of that. We were out 4 in the morning in a Native American burial ground where crazy things happened, and I never felt more alive, but also, you know, I would a little bit scared in some situations. Here's something I want to bring up. So you mentioned the lady and your dad's interaction with the lady. Have you had interactions with the lady?
Great question. So the lady is at the center of all of it for us. She is the center of all of it. I have not seen her in the form Dad saw her in, but we believe that all of these orbs of light, maybe not all of them, but they're spirits, they're spiritual, and that these beings work for the lady. They are fractals of her. But there have been times, specifically with Dad, that we saw certain lights that we call the fire, because they're different than regular orbs. They're like little fire sparks, like little flames, that we believe is the lady. It's like her sparkles, like we're seeing her sparkles, but they're little flames. I've seen that many times, and that feeling is different. The feeling of being in that presence is very different. It's very world-stopping and electrifying, and your body is just completely it succumbs to this feeling of like awe and peace and warmth. So I've seen that. And then separately, are you familiar with the Monroe Institute?
Yeah.
Have you done any of their work?
I haven't.
Meditations?
But I know that you and your dad were up there.
Yes.
And you've probably been up there more than once, right? Or just
I've been a couple times,
Okay.
and we did the History Channel there as well. Half of our both of our episodes, but half of our work with the History Channel from last season was studying at the Monroe Institute. But not on that trip, on a separate trip. The first time I went, I had an experience where I left my body in a deep meditation, and I found myself in the presence of this all-engulfing bright light that said, you know, she didn't even say it to me. I just said mother, because I knew it was the mother. I knew it was the lady. And she just communicated to me that she was always with me. She was always protecting my family for generations. I had nothing to worry about. And that was all. I didn't even need to ask her questions. All the questions I've always wanted to ask her, I didn't even think of, because they didn't matter in that moment. I just kept saying and crying over and over, mother, mother, mother. And she said, okay, it's time to go now. This was after a very long journey in this same meditation that I have completely skipped over. But I did have that experience with the lady. And as soon as I left, I was walking around the Monroe Institute out of body. And I saw Dad, and he saw me. And we just smiled and joined hands, and we just started flying in the stars, and we're just having fun. And as soon as we come out of the meditation in the 3D, he said, you know, we're in the hallway and we saw each other, and he said, we were just holding hands and flying. And I said, I know, we were. And you can't tell me it didn't actually happen. Like, it's just, it's consciousness.
Right. Do you think, how well do you think someone, it could be me, could be someone watching this, can practice and develop that consciousness to maybe a level that you or your dad has? Or do you think it's more inherent and it's in you or it's not?
I think everyone is a little spark, a little fractal of God, of pure consciousness. I think that comparison, just for the listener, comparison is not going to help anyone. I think that, you know, your own spiritual journey and expansion with consciousness is exactly what you need. I think it's exactly right and exactly worthy. And if that means you leave your body and you fly in the stars with your dad, that's great. If you don't, you didn't need to have that experience, and that's fine. If you didn't need to see the phenomenon, that's fine. I think the closer we can get to understanding what we need intuitively in our own consciousness, the closer we can get to peace and feeling fulfilled and getting to a place where we don't really need to have experiences to know that they're real, to know that we're more, to know that we are infinite. If that makes any sense.
It does, and it's a lot to
But I do think you can train it. I do
Okay.
think absolutely.
Okay. Well, there is
And I
hope.
would recommend anyone who wanted to try this and who feels the call to expand, go for it. Absolutely do it. I say start with the Monroe Institute. I'm a big advocate for them. I even have I'm an affiliate with them. They even entrained my album with their sound science. My music that I produced, that I wrote, has their sound science on it because I believe it's so impactful and helpful. And if anyone doesn't understand what that is, it is, you know, Bob Monroe created binaural beats, and they have developed their sound science to a level now to where you don't even need headphones. You can get the access to the brain expansion, to the hemispheric synchronization, and rewiring of your broken patterns in your nervous system without even wearing headphones through their sound science. Now, not all of their meditations have that specific kind on it, but that's just the level that they're at because it's helped so many people and they've had so much research and evidence of it working, and it absolutely changed my life and helped me integrate my story for myself in a way that gave me maybe the repatterning in my body to feel safe and confident enough to step forward and start speaking about this. Because I would talk about it and I believed it all at home in private, but the minute this would come up in conversation or in front of people, I would break down. I'd have to leave the room. I would cry. It was very traumatizing for me on a social level. But after doing my first experience with the Monroe Institute, where I just explained what happened and I healed some past selves and went on this whole astral projection journey, I started feeling a little bit more bold and a little more clarity on what I needed to do moving forward to step into my story more. So yeah, everyone needs it. And it's kind of like the phenomenon. You're going to get exactly what you need with this technology. The work it does on your brain, it doesn't matter if you're trying to make it work. It doesn't matter. Just hearing it, if you fall asleep, it's helping your brain the way you need it. Trying to have the same experience as me or an out of body like someone else you heard or whatever sometimes creates those barriers, like I was saying with the phenomenon, where you're creating resistance, a limitation, the effort, the need for maybe personal validation or proof or something to happen creates resistance from it happening. So just like with the phenomenon, when it comes to exploring consciousness and expansion, not just with Monroe, but with your own meditation or your own, I don't know if you do ayahuasca or whatever it is people do, having an expectation creates a limitation. So I would say the more we can let go, the more we can go. I like to talk a lot about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I mean, if we understand what these two are, you know, the lady is the divine feminine. And she said she was coming back to awaken the people, to open the hearts and minds of the people, to bring the new knowledge. And what does this mean? The masculine represents the physical, reality, logic, reasoning. And when it's wounded, what does it do? It becomes aggressive and controlling. And that's what our world has been based in. It's been very based on a rudimentary, physical, controlling, aggressive, consumerist, materialistic mindset, right? The spiritual, the feminine, the emotional, the letting go, the mysterious, that's what the feminine is. I didn't mean to say the feminine is the feminine, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The unknown, the unseen, the non-physical, the emotion, intuition, and spiritual is the feminine. And so her coming back and opening the hearts and minds of the people, awakening them, what does this mean? This means teaching us that our emotions, our intuition, and our spirit is real, for one, that it has power and creates ripples in the world, and that part of it is learning to lean into it and let go of that need, that I'm not saying men and women, the energy,
I get it, yeah.
the masculine energy for the listener, right? That letting go of the need to control and have a specific outcome, that is going to help us elevate and expand on the spiritual side.
Well put. Well put. And this it leads me to, before we wrapped, there was a couple things I wanted to ask you, and you just teed it up perfectly. I was kind of asking about the lady, because I know your dad's mentioned that 2026, a new consciousness will come about, is kind of her messaging, right? What, you know, people have heard that from your dad, but I don't know anybody closer to your dad than you that have had these experiences. What could you tell the viewers? What could we take away about the shift in consciousness and when that could happen?
I think we're already seeing it happening. She also said darkness would be brought to light. We've been seeing for years now people starting to experience the phenomenon. That veil is being lifted.
Fuck this shit, I'm out of here, bitches. Suka, blядь.
The truth about what their intentions hold, the power of their intentions, the power of